Join us today for an action-packed episode of Locked On Fantasy Baseball, where we discuss the biggest news of the offseason. Shohei Ohtani is officially a Los Angeles Dodger.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Sports Network, your team every day. As always, we're your number one source of fantasy baseball knowledge, and thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. I'm your host, Dominic Martino. You can find me on Twitter at DomMartinoFB. Here, as always, with my brother, my co-host, my partner in crime, Matthew Adney, and you can find him on Twitter at Matthew_Adney. If you're listening on a platform like Apple or Spotify that allows 5-star ratings and reviews, we would truly appreciate it if you could do that for us. And if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't already, hit that little bell below. It subscribes to the channel and also gives you a notification every time we drop a new episode. And lastly, I keep throwing it out there again. You know, a lot of people are starting to tune back into fantasy baseball. Join us on Subtext. You will get Matt and I's way too early rankings, probably top 15 in every position. We're getting to release those soon. You know, Matt and I are just putting the finishing touches on those rankings, plus much more than we could offer here in this 30-minute podcast. Once again, that's on the Subtext platform. And guys, it's official. Biggest contract in sports history. Shohei Ohtani, Los Angeles Dodgers. Matt, take it away, brother.
Yeah, Shohei Ohtani, man. Way to just fuel the evil empire is all I got to say. I'm really pissed. He couldn't even go to the OG evil empire and ended up on the Yankees. No, you had to go to the new one, like the OK Star Wars movie. You had to go to them. Come on now. But you know what though? That team just gets a massive upgrade as a whole. Shohei is going to seriously bring some serious pain and fantasy gold to the rest of this team. Everybody pretty much gets a boost up in the rankings just based off of where they are and who just joined the team. He's probably the only player that I'm going to say is going to beat the rule of new year, new team. The only thing that's going to fall into place with Shohei Ohtani, obviously, to start the year is he's coming back from the torn UCL and receiving the TJ. Right now, reports say he's going to be ready for opening day. There's nothing that's going to stop him. But as we saw with Bryce Harper, it's going to hinder the performance of his bat and kind of zap the power for a tad. But once you get going and as he progresses through, getting used to the new swing, the new arm, the new elbow, essentially, he'll eventually start cranking that ball out of the park again and start returning to norm like we saw at the end of season for Bryce. It only took him from pretty much the end of May, beginning of June till end of July. So 2 months.
Yeah, it took about 2 months to get going.
Right. So that's actually not bad. Think of it this way. Shohei Ohtani has the potential to have Julio Rodriguez's season last year, where he had a really slow start and then finished out as a top 50 player. Except Shohei Ohtani has the Aaron Judge effect that could hit 67 bombs in 5 games. So Shohei Ohtani is still a top end pick, even with the downside. Even if he were to miss 2 weeks of the starting season, I'd still probably pick him at pick 12 or pick 13, just based off of the fact of the upside. Shohei Ohtani is just going to be absolutely bananas and probably even has a shot at winning the Triple Crown, which I haven't said in a very long time, but there's a strong possibility he might be able to just go ahead and do it because of the team he's on with ribbies. Obviously, home runs are definitely something he can attain. Batting average is something he's got as well, but he just have to beat a rise after that. But Shohei Ohtani has an opportunity to have a really special career on the Dodgers, and the Triple Crown may not happen this year, but it very well might happen soon with him. And Shohei Ohtani is going to be something special. And what I foresee happening is people are going to be a little scared of the UCL injury, and he might dip a little bit in the ADP, which we're going to be telling you to capitalize and take advantage and deal with the slow start, because I could lose the first 2 months straight of fantasy baseball and still win a championship. So Shohei Ohtani is 100% worth that early pick.
Yeah, I mean, I know if you're here, you're most likely here for the fantasy side of this, but I'm going to give a little bit of breakdown on the contract and everything here. It's $700 million for Ohtani, 10 years. He's making $70 million a year. From most recent reports as of today, Monday when we're listening to this, he's going to defer a lot of that money and get some more good players in there for the Dodgers. The Dodgers supposedly still talking to Yamamoto and other guys to just make this evil empire even more evil and even bigger empire here. I don't like the contract from a baseball standpoint, but that's a whole nother thing. I think the move for Ohtani, better lineup, better team. He's not pitching this year, by the way. Let's not forget that. Obviously, we know with the Tommy John, he's not pitching this year, so it's just going to be strictly hitting. Matt did a good job of breaking down, with the injury timetable and all that stuff. 5 category guy when Ohtani's healthy. The ADP for Ohtani right now, we're using NFBC ADP once again. That's the National Fantasy Baseball Championship. Their platform is, open early. A lot of big name fantasy baseball guys play on there. A lot of big money leagues on there. Ohtani's coming off the board 15th. I think that's fair. If this guy was, hitting and pitching, as Matt and I always say, he's number 1 overall player. If he is out there doing both, you just can't beat that in fantasy, and you could use him as both. You could utilize him as both. It's a good pick. Not really too much to add here. You know what you're getting with a guy like Ohtani. I think he's still, high end production. If I'm picking on the wheel this year, I'm not afraid to take him at 12 and pair him with somebody very safe on the wheel there as well. But that's really a lot of the main Ohtani stuff here. We're still going to keep talking Ohtani. We're going to talk breakdown here for the Dodgers. We're going to talk about the rest of the Dodgers lineup here. Let's talk about the other big name guys. Let's start with Freddie Freeman real quick. I'll start deep diving into him. The thing with Freddie Freeman, just you get another big bat in that lineup. Kind of, they were missing Trey Turner a lot last year. Freddie's numbers were still absolutely phenomenal. In that sense, but I think Shohei Ohtani is always a boost, offers him a lot more safety in that lineup. I'm curious to see how they're going to mix up the 3 of those guys at the top of their lineup there. Freddie last year still had monster 131 RBIs, 29 homers, 131 runs, 29 homers, 59 doubles, 102 RBIs, 23 steals, 331 batting average. That's just what Freddie Freeman does. Let's look at roster resource. They have this lineup projected at right now. Mookie Betts leading off, Ohtani second, Freddie Freeman third, Will Smith hitting fourth, Muncy, James Outman, Chris Taylor, Jason Hayward, Gavin Lux. I like that lineup as of right now. I really have to deep dive and see if I would mix anything up. Maybe, put Freddie first just to mix up those 2 lefties there, with Ohtani and Freeman. Matt, your thoughts on Freddie Freeman here? I know it's one of your guys. Does Mookie help? I mean, does Ohtani help? Is it neutral?
I mean, with the projection of the lineup and him going him batting third, it's monstrous. The ribby potential is just absolutely bananas. The dude pretty much hits 300 every year. Last year, 331. Like, there's no reason that Freddie Freeman isn't going to benefit from this. He's probably gonna, come up pretty high in the ribby department. Anybody who drafts him is going to be crazy. Honestly, I wasn't feeling great about drafting him even in the first round, but now with the addition of Ohtani, I think it's a no-brainer at pick 12. Like, honestly, on the wheel, Freeman, Ohtani, and I'm happy. I'm walking away like a happy man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's going to be a great fantasy baseball team name this year, the Evil Empire. Especially you got a couple of Dodgers on there, man.
Yeah, like it's really incredible. And truthfully, too, the other thing that I love about Freeman is I think we're gonna see another 2019 season where he hit 38 home runs. I think we might get close to that 35 range. I think he's got it in him. Like, the dude just hasn't had to show it off, but we've been working back from not only leaving the Braves and dealing with the turmoil of that in 2022. 2023 was like his coming out party on the Dodgers. And now I think 2024 might be like, hey, by the way, I might be the best player on this team type deal. And the fact that he added 23 stolen bases to his repertoire and resume this year, I love it. Full blown 5 category contributor, something I never would have thought out of Freddie Freeman. So, like, it's going to be a very special season, 100% a first round pick this year. But before we move on, we talk about another amazing name, the other big name on here out of the three-headed monster that we call the Evil Empire. We have a break for you. Score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in the action than now. The app is super easy to use. There's wide range of betting options, including point spreads, player props, over and unders, and so much more. So visit FanDuel.com/locked on and kick off the NFL season today. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. All right. And guys, I also want to let you in on a few things here. Locked On has launched their first ever national 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering your top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever 24/7 streaming channel. And guys, I got one last thing, and I swear to God, I'm done after this. And that's subtext. All right. Fantasy draft season is almost upon us. We're about a couple months out, but the way you win your leagues is by signing up for Subtext now, seeing how our progressions grow, and with our rankings, our tier-based rankings, our bust lists, our sleeper list, our value list, everything under the sun is at your disposal with Subtext for a measly price that honestly you won't even notice come out of your account. And all of that just so you can win your league and take your smack talking and championship rings to a full-blown case instead of just a single finger. And that's just by signing up for the Diamond Club on Subtext. All right. I talked a lot. I'm actually going to hand that off to you now.
Yeah. So let's get back into the Dodger stuff here. We talked about Ohtani, big man on campus getting paid all that money. Freddie Freeman, we spoke about him a little bit. Just an elite, first round caliber talent here. Let's move on into the third player who's probably going to be taken in the first round in all of fantasy drafts. Mookie Betts. You can't talk about Dodgers without talking about him. Already been there for 4 years, going to be his 5th year in 2024. Monster season for Mookie last year at age 30, 152 games, 584 at bats, 126 runs, 40 doubles, a triple, 39 homers, 107 RBIs, 14 steals, 307 batting average. As Matt said, Freddie looked a little bit more comfortable. Mookie's looking more comfortable. Get them an elite bat in there with Ohtani, and just the three of them all going to have monster seasons. And if you haven't heard already, the news about Mookie Betts is he's going to be playing second base every day. You don't have to worry about that second base eligibility. He's going to, continue to have it. They might even move him around. I'm sure he'll retain outfield too. I'm sure he'll get his 10 games at outfield at some point this season. Just monstrous player. Right now, Mookie's coming off the board at, the 5th overall player. You gotta love it. You're getting him on your team. The guy does everything right. If you're not familiar with Baseball Savant, you go to their page and, they have a little chart there, and you're looking for red usually. Mookie Betts' whole page is red. He does everything good. There's just not much else to say about the guy. I know I have him first in my second base rankings. Outfield, let's see where I have Mookie at. I definitely have him at my top 3, 4th at worst. As I'm pulling up my rankings here, I have Mookie Betts at number 2 actually at outfield, and I'm not even mad at it. The power's legit. He's chipping in, close to 15 steals. The runs and RBIs are going to be crazy. The batting average is very good. Career 294 guy. I love Mookie Betts.
Oh yeah, dude. You kind of really hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's not really hard to do when you're talking about Mookie Betts in all honesty.
He makes it easy.
It really does. So in regards to that, it's just okay. It's kind of common knowledge and sense that he's going to be one of the better fantasy picks in baseball. But ultimately, Mookie Betts with, like I said, Freddie Freeman and what I'm thinking he's going to do, and what Shohei obviously brings to the team, Mookie Betts is going to benefit too. He's leading off in that lineup. And quite honestly, like from 1 to 9 on that lineup, like, well, actually, I'm going to say like 1 to 8. There is like, or 7. There's like 2 people I really don't like love on that team. But, they're still guys that produce and are able to get on base. And Mookie Betts is still able to, benefit from, guys still being on base, get ribbies, but also he's going to be driven home like a damn animal. Like, Shohei Ohtani really doesn't, miss the opportunity and leave too many people on base, which is a lot of teams' problems. Mookie Betts is never going to not get a run when he gets on base is essentially how I got to treat it. So, like, ultimately, you want to win the runs category, just pick Mookie Betts and you pretty much locked it up, along with every other category he's going to contribute to. But I think we might see, like, Dom, I mean, this should be on the bold prediction, 150 runs.
I wouldn't be shocked, to be honest with you. Mookie is the kind of guy, if he stays healthy, plays 155 games.
Yeah.
He had 126 this past year, and then in 2019 you go back there, he had 135 runs, so you're not far off.
Yeah, and I mean, now you got 2 guys that are hitting right behind you that bat 300 plus.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, there's no way you're not going to be driven home that much. Like 150 may even be a low ball number, but like, I'm kind of being hyperbolic. Like, do not take me serious. But like the high 135, I think is 100% attainable. Dom's computer totally died on us. It's going to be really funny. But yeah, so great on Mookie Betts. We're going to move on though. We're going to talk about my boy James Outman. Somebody, you know what I said? Hey, you gotta pick up or keep an eye on literally right before the season started, and he just literally decided to pop off. He had a fantastic season last year for his first real shot at the bigs. In all honesty, he got a small like espresso sized cup in 2022, but 23 is really got the first full year in the bigs at age 26. 483 at bat, 6 runs, 16 doubles, 3 bombs, 23 ribs, 70 stolen bases, 70 ribbies, 16 stolen bases, batted 248. Now, here's the thing about Outman. Outman just isn't just a, it's just some guy that you picked off the waiver wire. I actually think he has some serious upside. So I don't know if you've looked at if anybody's really looked or paid attention to this dude's minor league stats, but he does ball. In 2022 in the minors, he had 473 at bats, 101 runs, 31 doubles, 7 triples, 31 bombs, 106 ribs, 13 stolen bases, and batted 294. Now, I'm not going to say the dude's going to hit 294. I think he's more of like a 270 hitter. But I think the power is absolutely legitimate. The 30 bombs, I think, is so achievable. And the runs and ribbies, personally, just with the first 3 guys we named, there's no way he doesn't attain it. It's just a matter of where he's hitting in that lineup. Do you have where he's hitting by any chance?
I do. He is projected to hit 6th right now between Max Muncy and Chris Taylor. So that's going to be a lot of good RBI opportunity with Will Smith, and Muncy being the 3 directly ahead of him.
Yeah, like he's in a good spot in that lineup to be very successful there. And I have a feeling he's going to be moved around that lineup based off of the righty lefty positioning. So he might even be, put in a spot where, he really is in a position to succeed and he can have some serious value right now. He's actually going at a really reasonable price too at, ADP of 182. That is just like a phenomenal pick. That's like probably going to be your outfield 4 or a first UT guy. Like, and I'm really happy because the upside is a top 50 player. And I'm not saying he can do that. Like, this isn't like, let's just be all over the Dodgers and, be on their jock, not to date myself. But, it's one of those things where like James Outman has some serious upside. And I want it. I'm all about it. That's why he's going to probably be on a lot of my teams next year. And before I let Dom get a wick in, because I just love talking tonight, we have one more sponsor for you. All right,
man, am I allowed to talk now?
Let me think about it. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, with Outman, Matt, you did a great job on Outman. I think the thing that I don't know, unless you're deep diving into him, he's actually really fast. I don't think people realize, but he's in the top, 88 percentile of sprint speed when it comes to all MLB players from last season. Career high of 23 steals in 104 games back in the minors in 2021. I think this is a guy you can honestly maybe see a sneaky 25 plus steals with 25 plus homers. The batting average, as Matt, you said, I'm on board with that. I think he's going to be like peak around the 275 range. But the runs and RBIs are going to be good on this Dodgers team. So you're talking about a guy that's going to really help you in 4 categories. You can almost comp him to like a Jazz Chisholm type when you're talking about, potential stat outcome. Might not be as fast as Jazz, but he's, once again, James Outman, very, very sneakily fast with that very, very strong sprint speed. I have James Outman as my 31st outfielder right now. NFBC ADP is coming off the board as the 41st outfielder. I'm about 10 spots ahead of ADP. Matt, I don't know if you have where you have Frank or if you mentioned it or not, but you could throw that out there for the people as well if you didn't already.
43, but I have a feeling that's
Okay.
going to be rising because I'm looking, and there's no reason he can't make it up to 37.
Yeah. See, and guys, once again, this is the reason that we're doing this stuff this time of year. You shouldn't be married to your rankings, especially this time of year. Your rankings should be something that are very fluid. If you do your own rankings, stay fluid, be moving your names around as constant as you can. If you do things the way I used to, like an old man, and use the pen and paper to write your names, which I was doing up until a couple of years ago, until my buddy Matt finally got me out of the caveman mode. Don't use the pen and paper anymore. If you want to have that,
loves carpal tunnel.
Yes. Use some app or something like that, a spreadsheet to organize your rankings. Just be constantly fluid, moving those names around, adjust as you have the information. But with James Outman, once again, very fast, has the power. The runs and RBIs should be very good. Got a taste of the bigs last year at 26. I think 27 May season, we're going to see a big breakout season from James Outman. Let's move on to another fellow here. We're talking about more Dodgers. Maybe we'll circle back to, a little more Ohtani talk at the end. But let's talk about Max Muncy. Just to get that extension there with the Dodgers. I believe it was a 2-year deal. Max Muncy, we kind of know who he is. A lot of power. A lot of RBIs when he's, healthy and on the field. Probably going to kill you in batting average. Last 2 years in batting average, Muncy was very, very subpar. Walks a little bit, actually, so might help you a little bit more in points leagues. Muncy last year, 135 games, 482 at-bats, 95 runs, 17 doubles, 36 homers, 105 RBIs, with a 212 batting average. He did lose some position eligibility, by the way. I know he had second base in a lot of leagues last year. He didn't play any second base this year. It was strictly just third base for Muncy. So in most leagues, he's really just going to be limited to third base, if pretty much not all leagues. So adjust accordingly with Muncy there. Let's see where I have him at third base. He's reasonable. I have him at 12. I can see that fluctuating up or down either way. It's really going to be a team need type of thing when you get to that point of your draft with Muncy, because like I said, it's strictly a power RBI play. He's not helping you. He has no speed. He's not helping you batting average. And the runs, depending where he hits in that lineup, are going to be mediocre, especially since he's not a very fast guy. I like Max Muncy. Once again, just really a power play. Don't have too much else to add.
Yeah, you know what? You described him right. Like Max Muncy is who he is. If you look at him, you got to treat him like what do I want to say? Like what's his name? Joe. Dom, finish it for me.
Wait, what happened there?
I'm so out of it.
I zoned down for a second. I'm sorry. I was reading something.
You the hitter that always just bats like 200 and then just hits like 85 home runs.
Chris Davis?
Well, him too, but the other one.
I was gonna say Chris Davis consistently hit like 240 with like 30 home runs. How many years in a row?
Yeah, forever actually. And then the dude that used to be on the Dodgers, Joe.
Jock Peterson? Not Jock Peterson.
No, not Jock. He went to the Yankees too for like 5 seconds.
Oof, damn! Did you do a stump to Schwab with me there?
I think I did, but I also stumped myself. So whatever. You guys probably know who I'm talking about, but it's whatever. But anyway, they're there for there. Like he just is who he is. He's just all reliable. You're gonna pretty much have a giant boost in everything but batting average, except it's like a negative. But yeah, if you draft smart and you just pick up another batting average, like for instance, like you drafted Freddie Freeman, and then you were able to get Max Muncy, like 10 rounds later, you're not mad at yourself for having Max Muncy because Freddie Freeman's going to bat a nice like 350,000, and then Max Muncy's going to bat like a negative 6,000, and the average is fine, and it just barely even it supplements itself. It's part of the team construction, and Max Muncy can fit in well. So like 100%, go for it. Yes. So I had another guy lined up, but I forgot about free agency.
Yeah. So I got something here. Let's
Thank you.
circle back to this lineup here. And one name that we could potentially talk about a tiny little bit, because honestly, I haven't really heard his name mentioned anywhere yet. Let's talk about Gavin Lux for a second. Interesting name if you're not familiar with Gavin Lux. A huge prospect coming up through the minor league system with the Dodgers. Kind of has been bombarded by injuries over the last few years, and I forget what the huge one was. I can pull it up here. What Lux's big injury was that held him out all of last season. I know it happened in spring training. I can't remember what it was though.
I'm pulling it up. Just continue.
Okay, yeah. So with Lux, there's always been a little bit of power, a little bit of speed.
Torn ACL.
Yes. Okay. So that's what it was. It wasn't ACL. I was thinking that's what it was, but I didn't want to throw the info out there without knowing for sure. It's just interesting because in 102 games in 2021 for Lux, he had 49 runs with 7 homers, 46 RBIs, 4 steals, 242 batting average. Then he played 129 games in 2022, had the same amount of home runs, only had 3 more steals. The batting average did take a step forward, but we didn't really see that step forward that we thought, was in there for Lux. Had some monster seasons in the minors, did Gavin Lux in 2019 minors, 26 homers and 458 at-bats, 347 batting average, 10 steals. He had 324 in 2018. He had 27 steals in 2017. There is just untapped upside with a kid who's, going to be 26 for the 2024 season. I like Lux. This is kind of like a last pick of your draft, type of thing here with Gavin Lux. Looks like he's going to be hitting last in this lineup. That also means that when the lineup turns over, he has Betts, Ohtani, Freeman behind him. That's a lot of run potential. It's just that I don't know where the steals and home run, potential really lies here with Lux, just because we haven't seen it in such a long time. But I think there is upside there for somebody who still hasn't hit the peak of their career yet.
Yeah, so like right now they have him slotted in as when he's healthy as their shortstop, which is nice. Gavin Lux going in his age 25, like there's still time for him to like course correct. So like I like the name, I like the potential, the upside. I just don't know how much I'm buying in, but the beautiful part is he's going to be free 99.
Oh,
so
yeah,
like
yeah, exactly.
like nobody's going to be drafting this kid seriously unless like he has a monster spring and all the truthers they're like, yo, I told you so, and draft him. Like
those truthers always come out. They always come out.
Dom will be the first one leading the charge with the Gavin Lux flag, the
We'll
tattoo
see.
on his arm
Maybe.
of Gavin Lux's face. Dom will just be a
I
little.
don't know if I like
extra
him
better.
that much. I don't know if I like
You
him
do.
that much.
You might even Steve Owen just get his whole face on the back of on your back there. But anyway, like Gavin Lux does have the potential to be like, the last pick gem, like full blown hit the lottery type pick. So like I like it. I like the free 99 about it, but I definitely would not draft him any earlier than your left pick. It lasts maybe 2 picks, depending on how stacked your team is. Like it is what it is. But anyway, Gavin Lux could be very interesting in 2024. But with that being said, Dom, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, guys, that's all for today. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review. Also, thank you to our everydayers and new listeners for making Locked On Fantasy Baseball your first listen each and every day. I don't think we officially announced it yet, Matt, so I think this is the time. Guys, we probably have our biggest, co-host coming onto the show, our biggest guest coming onto the show. It's going to be Frank Stanfill of CBS Fantasy Baseball acclaim. You guys may have heard of him, may have not have heard of him, but you most likely have. He will be on tomorrow's episode, and we're going to be talking about some of our favorite pitchers to draft, or tomorrow or the next day. We haven't lined everything up yet, but sooner than later, you will be seeing Frank on the show. But guys, until then,
peace.